you pay for a Big Mac? One man on Twitter posted signage from a Connecticut McDonald's where he paid $18 for a Big Mac combo meal. The man said it was a rest stop. It's located in one of the country's wealthiest towns in upscale Fairfield County. It also charges $19 for a quarter pounder with cheese and a bacon meal or a quarter pounder deluxe. And another example, the cheeseburger usually found on the dollar menu is going for $17 for two. I thought that stuff was universal with minor changes.
Right?
It
doesn't seem legal, right? I mean, that doesn't seem right. I think Fairfield County is Connecticut. Yeah, I think, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that the price would be so extreme at a McDonald's. Like, who is that? Is their clientele doesn't care?
Well, maybe they're so wealthy they don't even notice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Give me a $19.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you're driving through and you stop, you're like, what is going on?
Now, guys, why in the world would this right here be the case? Let's go back in time.
Today for fast food workers starting next year, $20 an hour for California fast food workers. That almost $5 per hour raise starts April 1st. The deal was announced today by labor unions in the fast food industry, avoiding a costly referendum on the November 2024 ballot. The agreement would apply to all fast food restaurants in California that are part of a chain with at least 60 locations nationwide. The Fast Food Council would have the power to raise the minimum wage each year through 2029. The bill must be approved by the Democratic-controlled state legislature and signed into law by Governor Newsom.
Now, guys, forgive me for using so many clips very early in the video, and of course, this right here is going to be the last video before I get to work on a much larger project that's set to come out on Sunday. I'm going to go ahead and get the identity politics video out of the way of all the projects that are scheduled. A few of them, of course, are going to be coming out this year because, as I've told you guys before, there's going to be a lot more video essays, maybe even going fully to video essays next year, but I'm probably going to gradually work it in. But still, this right here is a video that I've been wanting to make for a very long time, especially when the news eventually broke. But I wanted to wait until the reaction to properly respond to all this. So this right here is back, what was this, like a year ago that the state of California chose to raise the minimum wage. Well, not California, but McDonald's in California chose to raise the minimum wage to over $20 an hour to fast food workers. Now, I got nothing against anybody who works in fast food or retail. I'm pretty sure that everybody who's watched my audience has taken a job at some point in time or worked a job that, quite frankly, many people view as a bit of a starter job, which is exactly what McDonald's and fast food work is. But then again, though, at the same time, there are people who do work it and they do eventually get to management, get a lot of benefits, and all that type of good stuff. Like, for example, I think Sheetz, I think they're paying right around $16 an hour. I think it's right around $16 an hour, I think, for starting out managers itself. Not a bad gig altogether when you think about it, but of course, given the fact that a lot of places are not exactly giving out heavy amounts of hours, anywhere between maybe 10 to 20 hours a week, and a lot of people were having to take a second job, which is one of the main reasons why the jobs numbers were so good, to go on top of the fact that a lot of jobs were, let's just say, coming back post-pandemic, meaning that people were opening back up. But this thing about $15 to $20 an hour minimum wage was something that the radical left has been screaming for a very long time. They've been screaming it since about, I would say, since Obama was in office. They wanted this, and their argument was always the fact that, well, if we raise the rate of minimum wage, we should never be allowed to work for less than $15 an hour. Okay. When you raise the minimum wage, automatically what's going to happen is that the price on certain things is going to go up just a little bit. We'll get a little bit further in detail because this was also implemented in my home state of North Carolina too. Now, we have not felt the same effects that California has felt, but then again, though, California and New York, of course, we all know they have a higher cost of living. However, prices of everything are in fact going up a little bit more than they should. Now, coming out of the pandemic, the vast majority of people, the vast majority of economists were saying that you can expect a little bit of inflation. However, what we did not anticipate was a massive amount of inflation. And then given the facts that the tax cuts expired in 2021, they're going to expire again at the end of this year, and they're going to expire again in 2025. Let's just put it this way here. You're basically getting a tax increase alone just through the inflation itself. But when you compile all the other tax cuts expiring, yeah, it's going to get a lot worse. So we called this and we told people that if you raise the price of minimum wage or you raise the rate of minimum wage for fast food workers to $15 an hour, next thing you know, you can anticipate the price of, say, a Big Mac value meal probably being right around 12 or 13 from its before mentioned $8.99. All right, now with that right there out of the way, now let's think about it with 20, and I mean $20 to $21 an hour for what is, for the most part, a good old-fashioned part-time job. Take a look for yourself.
This week, companies like McDonald's and Chipotle, they held their third quarter earnings calls, and both of those companies talked about what's going to happen in April when California's new wage for fast food workers goes into effect. Well, definitely they're thinking they might have to raise menu prices.
My workers, we did this!
A victory celebration in September when Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law a $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers like Anisha Williams. Chipotle has this sign now promising $16.25 an hour. That's over the current state minimum wage. But in April, when the hourly wage goes to $20 an hour, companies like McDonald's and Chipotle foresee menu price increases. Even before that happens, customers are feeling the pinch.
We used to get stuff for $1. The cheeseburgers that we got used to be $1, and now the meal was like $10.
Nobody wants to pay like $20 a meal for just a single person.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you feel like that's where it's headed?
Yeah, so then the family of four is going to spend how much? $80 on eating out? Yeah.
Not
No,
doable.
realistically not doable.
Kayla Glickman is among those who will skip the fast food if prices get much higher.
It's usually like $15 or more to get lunch, I feel like. So, yeah, I really I can't afford that. So every day.
Although everyone we talk to admits you're paying for speed and convenience.
For now, I mean, it really has to go up, like tremendously in order for me to to stop coming here.
Okay, just to be clear now, neither company said that they will raise prices, but they have to take that into consideration, considering that their wage prices will go up. Now, meantime, all of those people that we talked to, I said, well, what's the alternative if you're not going to be frequenting Chipotle or McDonald's? And they say, well, eat more meals at home. But then when I mentioned grocery store prices, that was met with a lot of groans and grimaces.
I mean, this right here was really just pretty well common sense. I mean, if you raise the overall wage, at least as far as for workers is concerned, at these particular establishments, this also includes Burger King. I mean, restaurants in general, after a while, the employer or the company itself is going to have to, and I know I've probably said this, I'm probably going to say it again, but they have to raise the overall rate when it comes to the price of food. McDonald's, on the other hand, is probably making an absolute killing, and they're going to continue to make a killing, and I'll show you guys why here in a second. But the thing is this right here, also to go on top of this, they don't have to hire as many employees now. They just get the 5 employees to run the shift during the day or run the 4 or 5 hour shift, the 6 hour shift during the day before it transfers over. Meaning there's going to be a lot less people being able to get a job in the fast food industry. And I've said this right before that fast food, for the most part, is designed to be a starter job. Exact same thing is considered for retail. I understand that there's management. I understand people do make it a career, and kudos to those people. But still, at the same time, for the most part, it is designed to be just a good old-fashioned starter job. You typically tend to work it when you're in high school, college, or even when you're in some very, very down times. I know a lot of people who've been through divorce and stuff who've been forced to take on fast food or work retail as a second job to help make ends meet. I mean, it is the way that it is. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, wow, $20-some-odd an hour. Yeah, but at the same time, when the price of a Big Mac is now $20 an hour, and there isn't even McDonald's best burger. If I go to McDonald's, I typically order a quarter pounder, or I order breakfast, or I may order one of the nice chicken sandwiches that they have. But if I really and truly want a chicken sandwich, I'll just go to Chick-fil-A, because Chick-fil-A is a much, much better sandwich, in my opinion. By the way, Hardee's has actually gotten better as well over the years, but still at the same time, you get what it is that you vote for. We told you people for a very long time that if you raise the overall minimum wage, which of course is not the minimum wage, this is McDonald's itself basically raising the price of everything in the actual store itself. But the same principle does in fact apply. The price of everything else would in fact go up. Now, where I live at, we've been seeing some price increase increments at like McDonald's and Burger King. Now, like a Big Mac's like $12, where it was like $9 a couple of years ago. I want to say that the Cajun Filet Biscuit Combo, I want to say it was like $5.75. That was what it was in 2020. Then it increased to $6.50. Now it's like $8.55. Cajun Filet Biscuit Combo back in 2020 was after tax, I think it was $5.86. Now it's $8.55. This crap does, in fact, add up. You see, like I said before, when you increase the overall wage at a fast food place, guess what's going to happen? The price of the food is, in fact, going to go up. So congratulations, guys. You just screwed yourselves. And let's also not forget that the people who are working at these jobs are going to be more inclined, more likely to buy fast food because of the convenience, because of the overall cheapness, which, of course, now it's no longer cheap. So, yeah, you guys got screwed in the process, too. Mom getting off work, got to buy food for her 4 kids. Now she looks at the situation. She realizes that she just paid $100 at McDonald's when she used to only pay about maybe $30. And getting back home after a while, husband's going to be like, you know what, hon, you're just going to have to cook, or me or you are just have to cook. We have to find other ways to get around. You see couples, people with families, those in the working class, they find a way to move around this. They're better at overall adjusting to a situation. Whereas the most single types, they typically tend to, let's just say it's more of an even split. Half will eventually learn to be self-sufficient and start cooking, while the other half, of course, the price of groceries was mentioned. We'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. But the fact of the matter is that the people who begged for this type of pay at a fast food joint, they're going to be the ones more inclined to be forced to buy fast food due to the grind of their life, due to their type of lifestyle it is. It could actually have a positive, though, meaning that less people eat fast food altogether, and next thing you know, people actually start taking care of themselves, eating much, much more healthier meals, but that right there remains to be seen. But it's something that, quite frankly, I am looking at. That's right at $20, right at $20 for a Big Mac value meal. We called this. Now, I want you to think about something really quick. If McDonald's raises the price, or if they raise their minimum wage, and next thing you know, the price of food goes through the roof, what happens next? Well, Wendy's, they're going to raise their wages, which they may, or well, actually, Wendy's may be a bad example. Of course, the service of fast food is not exactly what we call stellar nowadays. All the fast food restaurants where I live at have got absolutely horrible service. I mean, it's just the way that it is. I don't think $20 is enough to pay for a hamburger given the convenience factor. And now, as you guys can see, the convenience factor is pretty much gone. Now, I'm going to take you guys back to the thinking of this, and then we're going to come back on the other side and explain why it is that thinking was totally wrong. As I said before, they tried this in my home state of North Carolina in Charlotte. Now, here's the thinking of the people at the time when they found out that McDonald's was going to be getting, or at least McDonald's workers were going to be getting a higher rate of pay.
It's being advertised on a sign right outside of the restaurant in Belmont. Customers who saw it today say they're shocked, but also say it's about time workers start making a living wage.
A need for workers, plastered on signs outside of businesses across the Charlotte area.
And they can't get an employee for $7.25 an hour.
One of America's largest fast food chains.
Have a nice time. I'll take the order.
Is upping the incentive to join the team.
I think it's good for the employees. The owners, they've made a fortune over the years. It's time to give a little bit of it back.
McDonald's is advertising up to $20 an hour outside of its Belmont location.
I thought it was a misprint.
McDonald's says it's raising minimum wage for more than 36,000 employees by about 10%. Entry-level pay will range from $11 to $17 an hour and $15 to $20 for managers.
I was surprised. I think it's good for the economy. I think it's good for people. I think it'll put more people to work.
The only concerns from customers we spoke with, how the wage increase is going to impact prices.
$15, $20 an hour, well, you got a $20 hamburger, you know.
And small businesses in the area who might not be able to compete with the corporate giant.
People would love to make $15, $20 an hour. But if they pay $20, McDonald's, then you got Bojangles, you got Wendy's, everybody else is going to have to match.
A worker shortage felt in nearly every industry.
Definitely been hard.
Some say increasing pay could be a fix.
It's a revolving door. If you can find them, they don't hang around too much.
And McDonald's is hoping the wage increase will attract more workers. It says it's hoping to hire 10,000 more employees within the next 3 months. Reporting live in Belmont, Taylor Young, Fox 4.
And obviously, this level of thinking was proven to be completely wrong. I understand it. You think, maybe we can raise the price. Maybe we can, maybe we can raise minimum wage. Maybe we can make more an hour. But that only somewhat works if the economy is really good. Now you've got rampant inflation, and that's driving the cost of food up through the roof. $20 for a Big Mac value meal. You might as well go down to Five Guys and buy a burger and fries, a better cooked burger for roughly $20. You might as well go to Fuddruckers if you still have one. You might as well go to Applebee's or Chili's or the Longhorn and get one of their burgers, which is a little bit more handcrafted. You can typically get that for roughly the same price as what you're paying for from McDonald's. McDonald's, for the most part, just throws a piece of beef that we don't even know where the hell it even comes from on the grill. It's fast, it's convenient, but now you're finding out that the convenience factor is gone given the amount of money that you're paying, also given the weight, and also given, I mentioned this before, the service, which has gone completely downhill at a lot of these places. Well, go to Wendy's. Well, you're going to see Wendy's. They're going to have to increase their wages as well. Bojangles, if you live in the South, they're going to increase their wages. White Castle will have to increase their wages. Just about everybody, every city, every state that's got a fast food restaurant will eventually have to increase their wages. And as a result of this, they'll also have to increase the price of food. So do you know what eventually happens as a result of this? Let me show you. You end up getting replaced with robots. That's what happens. You basically get replaced with the great big giant Roomba. The McDonald's that in my town that I live in are about half and half. Half of these places have got these little automated machines where you kind of like put your order in. You got about 2 people working in the back fixing the food. You've got a spare person there that can run the register, usually a manager. You've also got maybe one person working one side of the drive-thru and the other person working the other end of the drive-thru, usually 4 or 5 people at one point in time. The lines are heavy. Of course, you know, it's taking a much, much longer amount of time to get your food. I don't see how the hell the convenience factor is being fixed. If anything, the convenience factor is no longer existent. Now you're waiting extra time for food, unless it's maybe Chick-fil-A where they actually do, in fact, try to give you your food on time. But even that right there is falling behind. The thing you have to understand about this entire situation is that we told these people that the more money you request for what is a part-time job or a starter job, eventually the price of food itself would go up. Now, who does this right here affect the most? Poor people. The people that the radical left claim to be simping for. That right there is who this entire thing affects. I even did a video on this yesterday with the Mr. Beast thing, why it was that the radical left was showing you their true hypocrisy while getting upset over that, while getting upset over him helping out some people in Africa, giving them actual drinking water, setting up wells, you know, digging, that type of stuff. These people really and truly have lost the actual plot. Now, what's the difference between those who were prepared for this and those who were not prepared for this? Well, like I said, these people stupidly begged for $20-some-odd an hour. And by the way, they'll be begging for $30 an hour here soon. There's not a single amount of money that's going to make these people happy. Meaning that you now find out that they suddenly want to make a lot of money and they suddenly want to be the rich person. Politics of envy, the politics of the dumb, politics of the unknowing. That is what the hell we are dealing with here, and now everybody suffers. However, those out there who were actually prepared for this will, of course, go out there and go buy groceries, and actually they will cook their food. They'll eventually adjust their diets, and they won't eat as much fast food. And when they do want to get a burger that, quite frankly, they can't exactly, how do I say, make at home, they'll just go to a place like, say, Five Guys, which is now the exact same price, and get a quality burger. Or they may just go to a better overall restaurant in general. I mean, hell, you might as well just go ahead and go get yourself a steak. I mean, speaking of that, there, Texas Roadhouse has got free steaks this weekend for veterans. Of course, a 6-ounce sirloin, but I'm pretty sure you guys get my point. After a while, people will just start eating better food. I don't know about you guys, but I think I'd rather have a steak than a hamburger. But still, the same thing does apply here. And I know you guys heard somebody say, well, the price of groceries. Well, I guess these libs and college students, I guess they better learn to cook. Because even though the price of groceries is high, after a while, you will be forced to go into that. And also at the same time, I would much rather have the much, much more quality food, or pay much, much more for the quality food, rather than pay $20-some-odd for a burger that, quite frankly, we don't even know where the hell came from. Great job, libs. You screwed yourselves, and you also screwed a lot of other people in the process. However, unlike you guys, we all, us normal people, us people with common sense, we will just simply adjust and move on, and you people will continue to scream and holler for $30 an hour, only to then see the price of a Big Mac go to right at $40. And that right there is exactly what the hell is going on here. Their own stupidity is what caused this. Now, the question then remains, well, what about those who have no choice but to buy fast food? Well, I guess you're screwed. Thank the radical left for this. And I'm going to go ahead and halt the video here. I understand that it is the weekend. It is a Friday. I have no videos coming out on Saturday. It is Veterans Day weekend. And to all of you out there who, of course, watch my channel who are veterans, thank you guys for your service, as well as also happy Veterans Day. I too also served. Today is Marine Corps birthday, so happy happy November 10th, guys. Super Fidelis. So at the same time, I just figured I would go ahead and just kind of throw that out there. The next video should be out on Sunday or Monday. Make sure you guys please enjoy the weekend. Remember what the weekend is for. It is for those who actually serve this nation. And with that right there being said, guys, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, stand off in the comment section. I would love to get you guys' thoughts, and I'll see you guys later.